Okay, crystallographic directions and plane. This is the today's topic. So the first thing is we have to see the to define a particular direction or plane, it is very important to identify the position coordinate. And to identify the position coordinate of any point, it is very important to define properly the axis system that you are considering. So the first thing for the Miller indices is the choice of origin. So choice of origin, here you can see this is a particular unit cell. The first thing that you have to remember that they may not be perpendicular to each other all the time. That you have seen in different kinds of previous lattice structure, the previous unit cells. You have seen that cubic crystal class is a special kind of a crystal class. All the crystal classes are not cubic in nature, okay, or orthogonal in nature. There are maybe different angles included between the axes. So this is the first thing. So that is why it is a common practice that we generally do not represent this axis system as XYZ. Okay, XYZ axis system is generally preferred for the Cartesian coordinate system, where this Cartesian coordinate system, remember, are orthogonal to each other always. So that is why when we represent in general the crystal structure, remember they need not to be orthogonal to each other, all the axes. Their angle included, you can see alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, so this alpha, beta, gamma not necessarily 90 degree. So it is the naming is generally given for the axes are A, B and C. Clear? This is the first thing. It is not X, Y, Z. It is not generally done, but many books probably you will find X, Y, Z, but remember that why we are considering A, B, C, not X, Y, Z. Next thing is that the selection of origin. Which one you will consider as origin? The answer is that is your choice. So user can take any point as the origin. So this is up to the user. So he will define that which one will be the origin, and not only origin, but also about the axis and their sense. These are arbitrarily chosen. Axis and sense also arbitrarily chosen. So you can select any axis to be A, any axis to be B, any axis to be C, and you can choose any point as the origin. So that is completely your selection. Okay, there is no bindings in it when you are trying to define Miller indices. This is the first point that you have to remember. Next is that the fundamental lattice translational vectors. So fundamental lattice translational vectors are going to be your unit vectors. These are going to be your unit vectors in three different directions. Three mutually not necessarily mutually perpendicular, three different axial directions. Basically, you have to consider these fundamental lattice translational vectors. So let us consider this is in the figure you can see a particular unit cell where we have considered this length along this direction. Maybe here I am showing by a red color, you see. Let us consider here is one lattice point. Let us consider here is another lattice point. So at the different corners are basically lattice points are there. So you have considered this kind of a cell. Now you see that along this direction, that means along the A direction, this is the distance after which basically these lattice points are repeating, right? And that is why the nearest two lattice points in that direction is basically represent length of the lattice translational vectors. And we have considered this as the direction of this particular lattice translational vectors, and its length is maybe say along this direction, the periodicity is say 3 angstrom. Let us consider it is 3 angstrom in that direction. And this 3 angstrom we are calling as the lattice parameter in that direction, say that is A. So A is basically this particular length, which is A. Okay, and this A may be 3 angstrom or 5 angstrom depending upon the actual lattice. Okay, so this is the length. Similarly, in the B direction, you see, if you consider this direction is B direction, here is one lattice point, here is another lattice point, probably at the same distance another lattice point is there, and to represent that infinite space lattice you have considered this cell. So along this direction the periodicity is the closest to in that direction. So this is we have represented as the lattice translational vectors, which is say B. Okay, so this B vector is maybe say 7 angstrom. So this 7 angstrom is actually B, and this B is kind of unit vector in that direction. This B is unit vector in that direction. Like in this case, you see this A is like unit vector in that direction. That means one unit length, one period, and that period after that much of length, every lattice point will come in that direction. Similarly, in the B direction, after this 7 angstrom, each lattice point is coming. So this 7 angstrom or this B, this is basically the unit length in that direction. Similarly, you see in the C direction, maybe these are the points after which it is repeating. Okay, so this is what is the lattice translational vector in that direction, and maybe C is equal to 6 angstrom. This is what is C. Okay, so C is unit vector in that direction. So in a Cartesian coordinate, what you have seen that in a Cartesian coordinate in X direction, in Y direction, and in Z direction, you know the unit vectors are like I, J, and K. And you know the magnitude of all the unit vectors are same. Magnitude of all the unit vectors are same and is equal to 1. But here you can see the unit vectors having different magnitude. You see the unit vector in the A direction is 3 angstrom, unit vector in the B direction is 7 angstrom, unit vector in the C direction is 6 angstrom. So unit vectors in this kind of a system is not same in all directions. Not necessarily same. Maybe cubic crystal class it will be same, but not necessarily same. Okay, so you see the unit vectors that by which we are representing along A, along B, along C. Remember, these we will represent by 1. Maybe we will represent this length by 1. We will represent this length by 1. We will represent this length by 1. But remember, this one and this one are actually different. This one and this one are actually different. This is very important to understand that unit vector in the A direction is of length A angstrom. In the B direction, it is B angstrom. In the C direction, maybe it is C angstrom. So that means the unit vectors having different length, but we are writing unit vectors in that direction. Okay, so this is basically the length of the period in that direction. Okay, so now up to this much, it is clear or not?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, so now coming to defining the position coordinate. So defining position coordinate is exactly how you do in a coordinate geometry. If you consider this point as the origin, let us consider this point as origin, and you want to define a point, let us consider, I am showing it by a blue color. Let us consider this point I want to define. So what will be the coordinate of this point? Remember, the cell that we have constructed here is a unit cell. Unit cell means that all the lengths are unit. But I have already told you these units are actually of different values that you have understood. But we will consider it to be a unit cell. So what will be the position coordinate of this point? Position coordinate of this point, you first see this along the A direction. If you consider along the A direction, it has not moved a distance. That means its A coordinate is 0. Now you see that along B direction, it has moved by 1 unit length. Along B direction, it has moved unit length. So it is 1. And along C direction, it has moved unit length. So it is 1. So coordinate of that point is 0, 1, 1. Okay. But remember, the most important point, this one and this one are actually different. Okay, so this is the underlying concept that you have to always remember. Similarly, you can define any point. Let us consider exactly opposite diagonal points from the origin. This point is definitely 1, 1, 1. So this point is 1, 1, 1. I think this is very simple. Simply just you consider that along A, along B, and along C, how much you have to move to come to this point from the origin. Okay, so if you move along A by 1, you come here. If you move along B1, you will come here, and if you move along C, you will come here. So this is 1, 1, 1. Okay, so in this way we can find out position coordinate of any point. Now coming to the first part of the representation, that is the direction, how we represent directions. Okay, so direction representation by Miller indices. So for that, what we are going to do is that you see the different steps that you have to follow. The direction is represented by an arrow. That is very important, and you have to remember that direction is represented by an arrow. So here you can see by this arrow, one direction has been represented. Let us consider by red color, I have shown one direction. Okay. Now you see that what will be the Miller indices of this direction. If we want to represent this direction, then how we'll write its Miller indices. So for that, what you have to do, in that direction, since it is like an arrow, that means it has a head and a tail. So which one is head? Definitely this is the arrowhead. This is what is the head, and this end is nothing but the tail. So of that direction, there is a head, there is a tail. So what you have to do, you have to find out the position coordinate of the head and tail. So that is the thing you have to do, that find the position of the head and tail. This is the first two steps. Find out the position coordinate of the head and tail. It is clear from this figure that position coordinate of the head is what? 1, 1, 1. And what is the position coordinate of the tail? It is origin, that is 0, 0, 0. Then what is the next step? Subtract tail from the head. That means what we do, we simply subtract this coordinate, that means the tail, from the head. And if you do that, it will come 1 minus 0, that is 1. Again 1 minus 0, that is again 1. And 1 minus 0, that is 1. So if you subtract, you will get this result. So we come to this stage. Then reduce them into smaller integers in the same proportion. So in this case, all of them are integers, and since all of them are 1, so you need not to do anything. But if you find that it is not, all of them are not of the same, like if you find that it is coming say half, comma 1, comma half. Let us consider that after subtracting, you will get the result like this. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to reduce them into integer. Okay, so how you can reduce them into integer? In the same proportion, you have to multiply. So what you do, you simply multiply it by 2. Okay, so if you multiply it by 2, it will become, the first coordinate become 1, the second coordinate will become 2, and the third coordinate will become 1, so that it will become integer. So all this will become integer. And the final step, which is very important, do not put any comma between the numbers, and put them in the square bracket. That means put them within the square bracket without any comma. Then this will be the Miller indices representation of this particular direction. So that direction will be, in that case, this one. But here, what is that direction? Its direction will be 1, 1, 1. Okay, because after subtracting, we got 1, 1, 1. Do not put any comma and put them in a square bracket. So if it is in a square bracket, then you will understand that it represents a direction. Okay, to represent some unknown indices, or to represent direction, you see, we generally use HKL. HKL, that is used to represent some unknown Miller indices to represent directions. Okay, like in case of coordinate, we generally consider X, Y, Z. Similarly, remember, for unknowns, in case of Miller indices, we represent HKL. Okay, these are certain conventions, that's all. Now, if you have any query regarding direction, please tell me. Is it clear to everyone? If it is clear, then find out what will be the Miller indices for this direction I am showing by green. What will be the Miller indices of this direction? So what will be the first step? So write the head, the coordinate of head 0, 0, 1. Write the coordinate of the tail and subtract. So if you do head minus tail, what you are getting is that minus half, then 0 minus 1 is minus 1, and then 1 minus 0 is 1. Okay, and then what you do, you have to reduce into integers, so you simply multiply it by 2. If you multiply it by 2, what you will get is minus 1 minus 2 plus 2, and then final answer will be 1 bar 1 bar 2 within square bracket. That means to represent negative indices, we put a bar at the top. If we put a bar at the top, that means it indicates a negative indices, that you have to remember, and it is read in this way: bar 1 bar 2. Okay, so bar 1 bar 2 within square bracket without any comma is the answer for this direction. Now, if you have any query regarding how to find out the Miller indices of direction, then please ask me. Okay, so that means it's clear to you, clear to everyone. Okay, so if a particular direction is given in a diagram, then you are in a position to find out its Miller indices, its direction, so that you have understood. But if the question is just the reverse, that means Miller indices for a direction is given and you are asked to draw that in a diagram, then how can you do that? So here are some questions, and you can take a snapshot of it and you can solve of your own and you can practice. Okay, that whether you can solve it or not. So these are the pictures where the directions are given and you have to find out Miller indices. But what I want to ask you is this one. So these are the very common questions that draw the directions having Miller indices like this: 2, 1, 0 within square bracket. That means it is a direction. From the square bracket, you will understand that this is a direction. So I just show you one of the problem, and I hope you will be able to do the rest. So I will show you the problem number 4. So let me show you how can we solve this kind of problem. Let us solve problem number 4, and the problem is we have to draw this direction, but 2, 1, 1. So first thing what we do, but 2, 1, 1 means the difference of the head and tail we know will be minus 2, 1, 1. This is the step 1 that we'll do first. Okay. Wait. Hello, I'm in a class. Okay. কিন্তু এখন আমার কিছু করার নেই, তুমি এখন রাখো ফোনটা। Now you see, this is the first step that you have to do. Next is that you have to first define, rather before this step, you have to define the origin and the axis. So let us consider this as the origin, O, and say this is A. Let us consider this is B, and say this is C. Okay. Now, what you do is that you first find out this one. Next step is very, very important. Just listen it carefully. That none of the coordinate will be more than 1. None of the coordinate will be more than 1. So how can you make that the maximum value of a particular coordinate will be 1? So for that, what we'll do, we'll divide it by the maximum integer value that is there. So here is the maximum value is 2. Okay, forget about the sign. You just find out what is the maximum value, and the maximum value is 2. So what we'll do is that we'll divide all the terms by 2 so that its maximum value will become 1. So in that case, this will become 1, this will become half, and this will become half. So what we have done, we have divided by 2. Why divided by 2? Because 2 is the maximum value, and we want that out of these 3 coordinate, the maximum value should be 1. The value, none of them should be more than 1. Clear up to this much? Any query up to this much? কি করলাম?
No, sir.
Okay, যদি কারো query না থাকে, it's okay. Now, the next step is very important. You look carefully. If you try to plot, now what we are going to do is that is very simple. That let us consider we are going to draw an arrow where we'll put its coordinate head and we'll put its tail. So what we do, this tail will make as origin. Always when this kind of a problem that a particular Miller indices is given and you have to draw it, so always we'll make its tail at origin. Okay, always we'll make its tail at origin. Then what will happen, that definitely this difference between the head and tail, is become nothing but the coordinate of the head, because tail we are considering as origin. Okay, so this coordinate that you can see, position coordinate, is nothing but the position coordinate of the head. Up to this much clear to everyone? Okay.
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now, here you see, if you try to draw, now the plot this point, -1, half, half. This is very simple one. Now you have to plot the position coordinate head, you have to plot the tail, and you just simply connect and put the arrow on the head. This is what is the work that is remaining. Now what we do, if you want to plot -1, then what will be the problem? If you want to plot -1, definitely that -1 will go out of this particular unit cell that has been drawn, right? If you try to plot -1, then the problem will be that -1 definitely will take this point out of this particular cell. So that we do not want. We want to make the whole direction within the cell. That means the point should be within the cell. So what we do to make it within the cell, we shift the origin. We shift the origin in such a way so that the point will be within the cell, and I can show without any further extension of the cell. So that is why we are going to shift the origin. So we are going to shift the origin to a new origin. With the blue color, I am showing the new origin or new access system rather. New access system I'm showing by blue. Now tell me where we should shift it. It is clear that only in the x direction it is negative. That means only in the a direction it is negative. In the b direction or in the c direction it is positive. So you need not to shift the origin in the other directions. So only in the a direction you just shift the origin. So what we do, we will shift this origin from here to this new position here. Now this will be our new A, our new B, and new C. Okay, so our new access system I have shown by blue, and what we have done actually, we have shifted our origin from that point in the a direction. Why in the a direction? Because the negative coordinate is there only in the a coordinate. If there are two negative coordinates, then both in a and b we have to shift. Maybe if first two were negative, in that case we will shift this by this one and again by this one. Probably our origin will be shifted to this position. It depends on what is the coordinate that we have to represent. I think up to this much is clear, that why we have shifted our origin.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Clear.
So now it is very simple. Now you simply plot, simply just locate the position coordinate of the head, and that is -1, half, half. So where is -1, half, half? So from the new origin, you go to -1, you come to this location. Then along b direction, you go to half. That means you will come to this position. And along c direction, you go half, and you will come to say this position. So this will be the coordinate of -1, half, half with respect to the new axis system. Okay, so finally, which is the direction then? The direction I am showing you by the black color. You see, this will be the direction. So from the origin, basically we have joined, and this is the direction represented by bar 2, 1, 1. Now if you have any query, you please ask at this moment. Okay, so in this way, what we can do is that we can represent the direction within the cell. Within the cell, we have to do everything. We are not going to extend our direction outside the cell. We are not going to extend our unit cell. Instead, what we are going to do, we are going to shift the position of the origin in such a way that that particular direction will be within the cell. We can represent it within the cell. Okay. So this is the way we can solve this kind of a problem. So after this direction, we'll go to the, I think up to this much it's clear to everyone. If you have any query, you can definitely ask me, no problem. Okay, so that means up to this much, it's clear. Now coming to this particular concept, which is called the family of directions. Family of direction are the directions which are physically similar. The directions which are physically similar. What we mean by that? Directions which are physically similar means, if you consider a simple, take this example. So what kind of unit cell is this? This is FCC, right? Face-centered cubic cell. You can see face-centered cubic. So in case of a face-centered cubic, you know that there are face-centered atoms, there are corner atoms like this. Now let us consider uh, this particular direction. Let us consider this particular direction. Let us consider this direction. Now see the direction that I have shown by this black. Then what is the physical condition of this physical position or the physical situation of this direction? I mean to say the atoms are there within that particular direction. The atoms are like this. Along that direction, atoms are like this. Is it clear? Because we know that in case of a face-centered atom, face-centered cubic cell, the atoms along the face diagonals are in contact with each other. They are in contact. As you can see here, this is the direction that I want to mention here. You see the atomic position that they are in contact. The atoms along that direction are in contact. Okay. So now you see another direction I am showing you. If you consider this is C, this is B, and this is A direction, and definitely you can find out what is the Miller indices of that direction. You can easily find out the Miller indices of this direction. Very quickly tell me what will be the Miller indices of this direction. It is clear that if you consider this is the head, then what will be the head? Head will be 0, 1, 1. And what is the tail? Tail you can see is 1, 0, 1. Right? Now if you simply subtract head minus tail, what you are getting? If you do head minus tail, you will get -1. Head minus tail. So -1, then 1, and then 0. Right? So its Miller indices is bar 1, 1, 0. So this particular direction is bar 1, 1, 0 that I have just shown you. Now you see what are the other directions which are having the similar physical condition, You see, if we consider this direction, definitely the Miller indices of this direction is different from this one, right? So if you consider this particular direction, that is also exactly similar to this physical situation. The atoms along that directions are in contact. Similarly, if you consider this direction along this diagonal, if you consider this direction, so all the face diagonals in all the 6 faces, you will find the different directions, and all are physically similar because along that direction atoms are in contact. So all these directions are in the same family. Okay, so if the directions are in the same family, they are represented within caret. So here you can see, and anyone in the family, any member of the family can be represented in it. Okay, so if we write simply like 1, 1, 0 is definitely one of the family member, then this represents that it contains actually all the family. That means one of the family member of this one is definitely bar 1, 1, 0 that we have just shown. Definitely 1, 1, 0 is one of the member. Okay, you will find other members like 0, 1, 1. You can draw all these things and you will find that they are kind of face diagonals. So these are all the family members. And see, this family of directions, they not necessarily parallel. That is clear here. They are not necessarily parallel. Okay, so they are all the members having the same physical situation with respect to the particular unit cell or with respect to the atoms. Okay, So this is what we mean by the family of directions, and they are represented by the caret. It is not a square bracket, it is not parenthesis, it is by within caret one of the family member is written. Any one of the family member of that family of directions is written. Okay, so in this way we represent family of directions. Similarly, you can consider another family. I can tell you, say this is one of the direction. Definitely this particular direction is not within that family, uh, and if you try to draw this particular family, you will find they are like this. They are not in contact. There will be a small gap between the atoms. So all the edges having the similar situation. So all the edges having the similar situation in FCC. So they form a family. They will form a family. Okay. So this is what is the meaning of the family of directions. If you have any query related to what we mean by the family of direction and its representation, you can definitely ask me. Up to this much, is it clear to everyone? Okay. I hope.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have any query at any moment, don't hesitate, just ask me. Okay. So now coming to the planes, how we represent planes through by Miller indices. Again, with the help of Miller indices, we can also represent planes. And as you can see here, that a plane representation has been shown by some unknown indices like HKL within parentheses. So that means when we see that it is within parentheses, we will understand that this represents a plane. But if it is within square bracket, then we will understand that it is a direction. Okay, so only by looking at that, whether it is parentheses or it is within square bracket, we'll understand whether it is a plane or it is direction. Now, let us clear the concept of planes. It is very, very important, and many misconceptions are generally created because of the not clearly explained all these things in different books. I have seen in different books it is represented in such a way it is very difficult to grasp the main concept of the representation of plane. So it is very important to understand. So listen carefully. If you have any doubt, don't hesitate to ask me. See, here I'm just showing you some planes by simple lines. I mean to say, actually the planes are like this. I am just taking this front view, and that's why I am just showing only the lines. Okay. So let us consider these are the planes. And you see the distance between any two planes. Let us consider the distance between any two plane is d, and this d is same between any two parallel planes. Let us consider, we are considering this set of planes having the same distance between the planes. Okay, so the parallel planes having certain distance between them, all these planes having the same Miller indices. It is not that this particular plane having certain Miller indices and this particular plane having a different Miller indices. No. By Miller indices of a plane, we mean a set of planes which are parallel with some specified distance. This is a very, very important concept. Now I am drawing, say, another figure. You try to understand. Let us consider these are the planes. Now I am drawing some intermediate plane exactly midway. So the distance between them is d by 2. Now you see this set of planes. These are all parallel planes. such that the distance between them is d by 2, and this d by 2 is same between any two consecutive plane, then this red set of planes will be represented by a different Miller indices. But by that Miller indices, we represent all these red planes. And you see, this particular plane, which was previously blue, was represented by some Miller indices, and now it is red, will be represented by some different Miller indices. So, by Miller indices, we are not representing a single plane. This is the first thing you have to understand. By Miller indices, we represent a set of parallel planes having certain distance between them. When the Miller indices are going to change? When these parallel planes having a different distance. When the distance between them is changing, but definitely it represents a set of parallel planes. And when the distance between the parallel planes changes, then the Miller indices of that set of plane will change. So this is what is the basic concept by what we represent by the Miller indices. Now, please tell me if you have any query. Is it clear what I just told you?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So if I tell you to draw Miller if I tell you to draw a plane in a unit cell, remember, if I tell you to draw a plane, then what you will do? There is no meaning. There is no meaning of drawing a single plane represented by a Miller indices. So minimum how many planes you have to draw to represent a Miller indices of a plane? Tell me. Minimum how many planes you have to draw to represent that this is a Miller indices of a set of planes?
The total height divided by distance between two planes.
That means at least two planes you have to show, otherwise you will not be able to show the distance, because distance
Yes,
is
sir.
everything. Because distance, you know that when you are representing a set of planes by Miller indices, it represents an infinite number of parallel planes. But when you specify the distance between any two consecutive planes, that means you completely specify that which set of planes you want to mean. That means at least you have to draw two planes. Then only you will be able to understand, okay, all other planes you just consider parallel to that with the distance between those two planes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in this way we represent the Miller indices of the set of planes. So here you can see that some such kind of examples has been shown of different set of planes, but it is very important to understand the basic concept behind the what we represent by the plane. It is not a single plane that we represent by the Miller indices. Okay, so this is very, very important. Now let us see how we can actually do how we can actually draw a particular plane, or if some plane is there, how can we find out the Miller indices of that? So what are the steps? Exactly similar way that we have done in case of a direction. So steps to find out Miller indices of planes. So first thing is the step one. It is very, very important that origin is chosen as one of the planes. So what we are going to consider is that we'll consider that through origin one of the plane is passing. So let us consider that this is the axis, and say this is the origin. Let us consider this is origin, say A, B, C and B. You can consider any direction, that is your choice. I have already told you ABC can be anyone. Okay, so now you see that you have to always remember that through origin one plane is passing. So in the cell you have to draw another plane. So in the cell you will show a plane and another plane which is passing through origin exactly parallel to the plane that you are drawing within the cell. So within the cell, probably you will see that you will show a particular plane. Only one plane you are going to show in the cell. But remember another plane. Where is the other plane? Because you know that at least two planes are required. The other plane is exactly parallel to the plane which is passing through the origin. Okay. So this is what is the underlying concept when we are drawing planes. So first, let us take one example. Let us draw a particular plane and let us try to find out its Miller indices. I'm showing that plane by green. Let us consider this particular plane. I think it's clear that which plane we are actually talking about. So this plane is, we have to find out the Miller indices of the set of planes which are parallel to this plane, and assuming that exactly similar, exactly parallel to this plane is passing through the origin. Another plane is there which is passing through the origin, and this is the other one. Okay, and all other planes are parallel to this with the distance between the origin and this plane. Okay. Now, what we do is that you just follow the steps. So first step is that after selecting the axis and the origin, you go to the step 2, find out the intercepts made by the adjacent planes. That is to be found. So what are the intercepts? The adjacent planes, what are the intercepts that you find out? So first you find out what is the a-axis intercept. What is the intercept with the a-axis? You can see with the a-axis, its intercept is this length. Okay. So because here it is the point that is 1. So a-axis intercept is 1. So a-axis intercept is 1. What is the b-axis intercept? It is clear that the b-axis intercept is also 1. Okay. So b-axis intercept is also 1. What is the c-axis intercept? You see this particular plane not cut the c-axis, rather this plane is parallel to the c-axis. So c-axis intercept is infinite. Okay, because it is parallel to c-axis. It is not cutting the c-axis. So intercepts are 1, 1, infinite. Now what is the step 4? Step 4 is you take the reciprocal of these intercepts. If you take the reciprocal of the intercepts, the reciprocal of 1 is 1, reciprocal of 1 is 1, reciprocal of infinite is 0. Next, multiply by the smaller integer to make them integers. That we have already seen in case of directions, how to handle that. But here we do not have that situation because all these are 1 and 0. So that is not required. Then coming to step 6, enclose them in parentheses. So final answer without any comma, enclose them in parentheses. So this particular plane is 1, 1, 0 within parentheses. This is the Miller indices of this particular plane. Now, if you have any query, please ask me. How we can find out Miller indices of a plane if that is given? Okay, I think it's clear. Okay. If this is clear, then there is a problem that you have to find out, or rather you have to draw if the Miller indices are given. The problem that we have just solved is that the plane is given and you have to find out the Miller indices. But if the question is just reverse, as you can see here, you have to draw if the Miller indices is known and you have to draw the plane. Suppose we are solving this problem 1 bar 1 1. We want to solve this problem 1 bar 1 1. How can we draw it? So let us draw it here. We want to draw 1 bar 1 1. This particular plane we have to draw. So first, okay, so this is origin, this is A, this is B, and this is C. Direction is very important. So here again you see, you observe carefully that 1 is negative, this 1 is negative. So definitely what you do is that you have to shift the origin. You know that if it is negative, then definitely you have to shift the origin. So along the A direction you have to shift the origin, because 1 bar is there. So let us shift the origin to new origin. That means here, because it is the first coordinate, A coordinate is negative, so our new axis is C, B and A, and this is our origin, this is our new origin. So now you have to consider this as the origin and you have to do everything. So first what we do, so here it is bar 1, that means you can understand this actually came from -1, right? So -1 1 1, somehow you got it. So next step is what? You have to take the reciprocal. We are going in a reverse way. Okay, you take the reciprocal. If you take the reciprocal, you will get 1 1 1 again. Since it is 1, that is why you do not understand that what is happening. But if you take the reciprocal, it will be -1 1 1. Now what you do, after taking reciprocals, what you have to do, you will get these values which are nothing but the intercepts with the different axes. So you just plot the intercepts with the axis. So here you can see ABC axis. So what is the intercepts? -1. So identify with the red. With the A axis, the intercepts -1 is this point. Okay, with the B axis, intercept 1 is which point? Here is the B axis. So +1 is this point. B axis, you see, B axis intercept is +1. With the C axis, what is the intercept? +1. So this is the C axis. So +1 is the intercept. What is the next step? Simply join. So this is the plane having Miller indices 1 bar 1 1 1. Okay, so in this way you have to draw. So you have to practice all these things, that whether you are able to do these things or not. So here the solutions are there, so you can try of your own. Here you can see some planes are given and you have to find out the Miller indices. So you can practice all these problems at your home and see that where you are finding problem. Okay, and then report me in the next class. Exactly in a similar way, what is family of planes? That means physically they are similar. So if the planes are physically similar, then we call that a family of plane. As you can see, if you consider the planes, if you consider this particular plane, let us consider this particular plane, this particular plane. If you consider this particular plane, they are physically similar, right? These are physically similar plane. Rather, all 6 surface planes are physically similar. Okay, so those will be within a same family. Okay, need not to be that the planes which are parallel are has to be within the same family. Okay, they may not be in the same family, but here you can see that by family of planes we mean that the members having the same physical situation. Okay, so we end today's discussion here. In the next class we'll discuss more on it, like how to find out the relationship between the distance between the planes and the Miller indices. It is clear that if the distance between the plane changes, if the distance between the plane changes, if it is d, then the whole set of planes is represented by HKL. Then definitely there is a direct relationship between this distance between two consecutive planes and HKL. So what is that relation? That will derive in the next class. Okay. So thank you.